How's it going, guys? Cody, guys, back again, dropping yet another video. Right, guys, this is a story in the Scotsman. It's obviously about a prison in Scotland. It's about HMP and Young Offenders Institute Polmont, which is in Falkirk, right? This is a shocking story, guys. Don't normally cover Scottish prisons. For those that don't know, Scottish prisons, justice has been devolved to Scotland. They look after their own police force and their own prisons, right, under the Scottish Prison Service, etc., etc. This is a shocking story, guys, though. Headline reads, Pressure for Polmont probe after 16 deaths. I think there's been 16 deaths, guys, 16 suicides since 2005. The families of 6 teenagers who took their own lives at Young Offenders Institution have spoken about what they believe are shortcomings that contributed to their deaths. Craig Clifton, Ragan Merchant, Robert Wagstaff, William Lindsay, who's also known as William Brown, Daniel Barclay, Ross McCollum, all died at the Polmont Young Offenders Institution near Falkirk. Now, God bless them all. May they rest in peace. Craig Clifton, Regan Merchant, Robert Wagstaff, William Lindsay, also known as William Brown, Daniel Barclay, and Ross McCollum. God bless you all. May you rest in peace. My thoughts and prayers are with your family. I hope they get justice, guys. However, it has emerged that out of the 11 deaths at Polmont since 2005, fatal accident inquiries, the FAI, determinations have been published in only 3 cases. Corruption, guys, at its highest and at its worst. Now, the FAI, I believe, are similar to what we've got in the UK as the PPO, the Prison and Probation Ombudsman. So in 11 deaths, including these 6 of Craig Clifton, Regan Merchant, Robert Wagstaff, William Lindsay, also known as William Brown, Daniel Barclay and Ross McCollum. There's another 5, and the FAI, the Fatal Accidents Inquiries determinations, have only been published, guys, in 3 cases. Disgusting. In the other 3 cases, an investigation found the determinations were suppressed from the public at the sheriff's discretion. Surprise, surprise, guys, because it could cause public outrage. The revelations follow recent publicity about Glasgow University student Katie Allen. God bless Katie Allen. She took her own life in Polmont. It's also a young offenders, and it's also a female prison as well. She was found dead at Polmont in June, and Dion Kennedy, 19, was found dead at the Cornton Vale prison. God bless Katie Allen and Dion Kennedy as well. Families, lawyers and campaigners are calling for the Scottish Government to hold an immediate inquiry. One mother, June Watt, claims she'd been paid £15,000 halfway through FAA proceedings in court in 2016 in exchange for signing a non-disclosure agreement following the death of her son, Craig Clifton, 19. He died in 2005 after suffering for 3 days of a diabetic failure. By the time he was taken to hospital, his condition had deteriorated so far that he died. The Scottish Prison Service, or the SBS, had denied that it was hush money. Miss Watt said, "Nothing is happening at Polmont because the management are more interested in covering up failings than taking responsibility for them and ensuring mistakes don't happen again. That's just not indicative of that prison, it's indicative of all prisons. Look at HMP Liverpool, for example, and HMP Nottingham and other prisons." Grandmother Donna Watt described the FAI into her grandson Regan Merchant's suicide at Polmont as one big cover-up. Regan died in 2014, 2 months before his 18th birthday. An FAA determined his death was unforeseeable, despite claims the teenager had been cited by a number of prison officers. Cross-party politicians have united in calling for action over Polmont. Labour Justice spokesman Daniel Johnson said Humza Yousaf, Justice Secretary, must now initiate a full review to uncover the truth behind these tragic incidents. An SBS spokesman said Miss Watt's case had been settled out of court in a civil action and that no conditions are attached to it. Rubbish. Healthcare was the responsibility of the SBS at the time. The SBS settled an action for loss of society. We do not place conditions on such settlements. We never had CCTV in cells. We had CCTV in other locations, which is only retained for a limited time. How convenient. A Scottish Government spokesman said, As the First Minister made clear this week, responding to the deaths in custody of 2 young people, we determined that any lessons that need to be learned will be learned, and that all appropriate agencies must look closely at what has happened. The First Minister also confirmed the issues such as secure care provisions, mental health care support in Polmont, and how we can how we can keep more young people out of the criminal justice system that would be considered. Now, guys, these are kids, guys. I mean, obviously, female offenders, Kate Ellen was 21, Dion was 19, I believe. Dion Kennedy, she was 19. Kate Ellen was 21, and these other lads were young, like I say, teenagers, because it's a young offenders institute as well as a female prison. Just looking at these names, guys, just shocking, guys. I mean, 8 deaths there, and there's only been the FAA report into 3 of them publicly, and it says there, in other cases, an investigation found the determinations were suppressed from the public at the sheriff's discretion. That tells you everything, guys. It's absolutely vile and it's disgusting. Prisoners' lives are disposable to the governments, guys, whether it be the British government or whether it be the Scottish government. They don't care about prisoners, guys. And before, you've got to think, guys, most of these prisoners have grown up in care, physically abused, sexually abused, emotionally abused. Some of the most damaged men and women in society. And prison puts you under duress and stress that is off the scale. Unless you've been on that roller coaster. Well, prisoners' families and prisoners' girlfriends get it. But if you have never experienced a criminal justice system, never supported someone in prison, you haven't got a clue what it does to you psychologically. Prison, you may fully leave prison, but prison will never fully leave you. It takes a part of you and it stays with you. I genuinely do believe that, and I stay by that. Guys, the healthcare of the prisoners was down to the Scottish Prison Service. It should be down to the NHS in the local area to deal with. Like I say, guys, too many people are dying, and for what? And it's swept under the carpet like it's nothing. And they try to keep, they try to declassify how people take in their own life, because this is what they do, guys. It's a fucking system that is full of corruption. It's rife with corruption. And like I say, the suicides that are still waiting classification, because they don't want to put it into the classification of suicide. There's a video that I'm going to do shortly about there's been 71 suicides this year in prisons, which is more than the whole of last year. And we're on record. We're on for record levels of suicides in comparison with record numbers of assaults and record numbers of self-harm that we're seeing year on year. But like I say, who's doing what? Who's doing what? They don't care, guys. They do not care. And things have got to change. And you've got to think the justice system is very lucrative and stuff. It's making all these private prisons a lot of money. It's very lucrative, guys. Everyone's getting paid, you know what I mean? And prisoners are dying on the government's clocks. And it's disgusting about what's going on. And will justice ever be served? Will we get to the bottom of it? Will be lessons be learned? No, it's all shallow talk, and they throw out generic lines. Oh, we our thoughts and prayers are with the victim's family and all this stuff. Right? They don't care, guys. They don't care. As soon as there's a death, unless it's under investigation, it might be double locked for a time, and then as soon as that lock comes off, there's someone else in that pad, not knowing what's gone before. And I will not shut up about prison suicides, guys, until things change. Like I say, it's shocking at best, guys. It really, really is. I mean, this is Scotland, guys. I mean, just, what do you guys think about what goes on? Do you think there's cover-ups? Do you agree with that? Do you think that that's not the case? Do you think more needs to be done for young people? What I've got to ask you guys is, right, when too many judges are literally like, they should abolish short sentences. They should genuinely, sentences under 2 years should be served in the community. Community payback orders, I think, are the way forward. I think they're productive. I think it gives something back as well. But the thing is, these judges are too, like, prison, and they're given too much power, and they're just sending people down willy-nilly. Like I said, I've been in prison with murderers. I've been in prison with people that haven't paid parking fines that are getting a few weeks in jail. It's like, surely that punishment could have been served better in the community. Obviously talking about the fines and stuff. Like I say, abolish short sentences, serve it in the community, give something back. Do you know what I mean? Have more faith in tagging and community payback orders. Don't just send everyone to prison because they're paying with their lives. going to leave it here, guys. It winds me up, really pisses me off. God bless all the victims that I've mentioned there, the 6 boys and the 2 girls of Katie Allen, God bless her, and Dion as well, Dion. God bless them all, may they rest in peace. My thoughts and prayers are still with your family. Like, comment, subscribe. Cody out.